Hello everybody out there in video world, this is Dan with another movie review for you. This time it's 50 Shades of Grey, starring Dakota Johnson as Anastasia Steele and Jamie Dornan as Christian Grey. This movie is rated R for sexual content and dialogue, unusual behavior and graphic nudity, plus language. This movie is number 1 for the weekend, grossing over $94 million according to IMDb. It's actually based on a bestseller that came out a couple years ago. It's one in a 3-part series. I don't know if they're going to make second or third. They are not slated as of right now, according to IMDb. Let's get right to the movie. As I said, sexual content, graphic nudity, yes. The language, there is language, but I didn't think it was so bad. One person sent me a text saying, the movie's not, quote unquote, the movie's not awful, but it's weird and disturbing. That's one way to put it. Christian Grey's character plays a controlling business owner, if you will. He has to control everything about his life, from the people that work for him to when he goes running and what he does on the side in his personal time. He has to control all that. He has to control every aspect of his life. Anastasia Steele is a college student about to graduate who does a favor for a roommate, goes to interview Christian Grey for the senior edition of the school paper. And that's how it all starts. That's pretty much where we start the movie from. I have not read the book. Okay, let me clarify that. So I don't know. Based on what I've heard, the movie was tame compared to what I've heard about the book. Yes, there's a lot of nudity and a lot of sexual stuff in that movie. So if you don't care about that stuff, you may actually like the movie. But if you do, I would not recommend you go see it. But I'm going to touch on 5 points really quick. The acting. The acting was not great. Dakota Johnson has played numerous TV roles and small parts in films over the last, say, 10 years. She was probably not the perfect person for this role. Same thing with Jamie Dornan. From a guy's perspective, he's not that attractive. And everything I know about Christian Grey, he is supposed to be drop-dead gorgeous, okay? And he doesn't play the role either. I don't really, and we'll get down to romance in a sec, but there were times where I did not see any chemistry, and yet there was supposed to be lots of chemistry. Plot. Yeah, there's not much of a plot. What do you say? I mean, it's a romantic drama. That's what it is. It's based on a book. I read one review that said The Notebook is romantic and it's full of plot. This is not. And I would concur with that, although not as strong felt as the reviewer did. Camera work, scenery. Some nice scenes, nice shots of Seattle. The way they did some of the rooms. Christian Grey, if you've read the books, if you haven't, I'm giving it away. Christian Grey is a sadist. I've never met a sadist. I don't know what a sadist exactly does, but if I knew what a sadist does, this is probably it. So the rooms were dead on. Some of the landscaping, some of the camera work of the locations were actually fairly good. So I'll give him that. Romance, like I touched on in the beginning, you didn't see a whole lot of romance. From the beginning, you can tell that Anastasia has Christian Grey's attention and vice versa. And yes, it does build upon there, but you don't feel a chemistry. You can see they're trying to act it out, the romance. And at times they do a fairly good job, but the chemistry is just not there. And finally, drama. There is no drama. It's not supposed to be a drama. It's supposed to be Anastasia meeting this guy, this control freak, and they both lose control. And now again, I haven't read the books, so I may be completely off, but that is my interpretation of the book, of what I saw in the movie and what little things I've heard about the books. So I'm going to give this movie a thumb up, just one thumb, for the whole movie keeping my attention. The acting could have been better, yes. Different characters, like I suggested. It wasn't a bad movie. It flowed fairly well. So that's why I'm going to give it a thumb up. Again, I would not recommend going to see this movie if you do not agree with nudity or a lot of sexual content. Like I said, the language is not bad, but I would not recommend seeing this movie if you don't like any of that. Not if you don't like that stuff, but just mean that if you can't agree with that stuff, this is not the movie for you. Okay? Go to the movies. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you next time at the movies.